Today we're going to be doing the first part of our koi fish paintings. We know from looking at the video of the koi fish on the ProWise board that they are beautiful orange and red colored fish, some gold on them. They're a type of carp, and they're very famous for being shown in Japanese artwork. The name for these colorful kind of koi fish in Japan is Nishikigoi, and they're really beautiful and fun to draw. So what we're going to do is we're going to be starting on a wide piece of paper, and we're going to be drawing first the basic shape of the body of the koi fish. You're going to be using a pencil, and you want to make these fairly large because we're going to be painting them, and you're going to want to have plenty of space to have those beautiful colors. So you're going to be beginning, and I think it's a good idea to start with sort of like a C shape. That's going to be the head. Then you're going to bring both sides down a little further towards the back. Then you're going to make a line out and a line out, and kind of like an M. Then you need to add the two fins on the side are called the dorsal fins. Those can be just done like a triangle on one side, a triangle on the other side. Because this is a bird's eye view of the fish, we're looking down into the pond. You're going to see both of his eyes, one here and one here. And then koi fish have those little whisker-like things called barbels that go off the sides. So there we have a koi fish. Now you want to draw at least 3, probably a few more than that. Again, you want to keep them big, and it's great to have some of them coming from off of the page. I could make sort of like this U shape for the front part of the body. Maybe the tail of this one is off the page. So all I would have to do is add the eyes and the barbels and the pectoral fins. Koi fish, I almost forgot, also have a dorsal fin. That's the fin on their back. You could make that you could show that just by a little curved line on his back. You could make some of them with a body that's curved a little, like he's swimming. So I'm going to start with my head again. I'm going to make one line kind of curve around, and make another line curve around. Remember, we want it to be a little thinner before we make those 2 lines out for our tail, and then kind of an M, in and out. I could add my my pectoral fins, my dorsal fin, my eyes, and the barbels. So you want to kind of take a look at your picture. You also may want to include a few lily pads. Easy way to make a lily pad is just a circle with a little V cut out of it. So you could do that. I'm drawing pretty dark with my pencil. You may want to draw a little lighter. I might make another lily pad over here. Maybe I'll make the tail of a fish going off this far edge of my paper. For that, I'm going to just make those 2 lines that get a little smaller. 2 lines out, that kind of V or M inside. You might see a little of that dorsal fin, maybe one more lily pad in this corner. There's not really a right or a wrong way to do this. You just want to fill your page in an interesting way, leaving some space for the water and having plenty of big fish. When that's finished, you're going to take a black crayon, and pressing pretty hard, you're going to be going over all of your pencil lines. And next we're going to be beginning with our warm colors of paint. So I'm going to have some water. I'm going to start with some plain water and paint inside your fish with just some plain water. Then when you start, you can dip in your paint and drop it into. Remember, when we looked at the koi fish, they were all different beautiful colors, not usually one solid color, but it's up to you how you do this. It helps if you don't overblend your paint too much. This is called the wet on wet technique. When you paint a little water first, it helps the colors run together. When you're finished painting all of your koi fish in the warm colors, you're also going to be adding a little bit of green for those lily pads. if you accidentally get some of the warm color paint out inside the water, just try and dab it quickly with a paper towel. And when we do our cool color water next time, it will cover most of that up, so it's not a problem. After you've painted in your lily pads and your fish are how you want them, you need to carry them very carefully and level to the drying rack so that they don't run. Okay, now we're back and we've painted all of our beautiful warm colored koi fish. We painted our lily pads and we're ready to paint the cool colors in the water. We're going to be using some blue and some purpley magenta color for that. And again, you want to start possibly with just a little bit of water, and I would work maybe in one area at a time because the water will dry too quickly. But if we try and do the entire background, but I could paint like maybe this area, and I'm trying to be careful to keep the water outside of my fish on the far side of the black line so that as I start to add my water, it will run freely, and you'll see that it will kind of follow wherever the water is. And when the water stops, like right here, the paint also stops. You can help it along a little bit. You might want to add a little bit of some purple in the water as well. And you can keep going this way to fill in your background. If you get a little on one of the fish by accident, that's okay. You can just dab it with a little paper towel, but you can fill in your whole background this way. So now that I've filled that whole wet area, see how the paint is stopping where the water stopped? I can now kind of help that along with a little bit of water over here and continue like this. And it looks really beautiful. You want to be very careful that you don't tip this or else it will run where you don't want it. So once you're finished with all of the water, while it's really wet like this, another nice thing that you can do is to add a little bit of salt. If you take a little pinch of salt and sprinkle it into that wet paint, it's going to make a cool effect when it dries. So there you go. Have fun. For the final part of this project, we are going to be making a little koi fish out of clay. So first we're going to be making it out of just some stoneware clay, and then we'll be glazing it some of those nice warm colors. Everyone's going to start with a little lump of clay like this. And remember, what makes this clay soft is the water that's in the clay. I'm going to work it around and roll it into kind of a nice oval shape. Kind of make it a little bit longer. You can roll it on the table. You can roll it between your hands. Not too long and skinny, but kind of a nice shape like this. Then we want to make the front end rounder and where it meets the tail a little thinner. So I'm kind of going like this and squeezing right around. So I have the body of the fish and the tail. Then to make the tail divided like this, I want to divide right here. I could push in with a finger and out with my other ones to kind of go like this. I could pinch, squeeze, and make my tail. I also want to think about the pectoral fins on the sides and the dorsal fin on the top. So you want to pinch with your fingers, not too thin, to pinch up for your dorsal fin on the back, and on the sides, pinch out. Then you can flatten it down again. Pinch out. Smooth around. Just take your time with your fingers molding it. Then for your face, you could make his mouth open, make his eyes. You could do this a bunch of different ways. One way for the eye is a little noodle. Press that in. You could also use a stick. Make the smaller dot. For the mouth, you could take a knife or another shape. And just wiggle it till I make a little mouth. Then if you want to have it curved a little bit, instead of straight, you could bend the tail one way or another. So he's swimming. And if you'd like to add some patterns, you could use any of these kinds of tools. Use this, any of these, to make some patterns.